Hello everyone, this is Vincenzo and welcome to a new video where I want to show you a game that I played a couple of months ago, and it was a very nice game which had a really nice checkmate. So I'm going to show it to you. It was a common checkmate, but very nice. In fact, it was brilliant. And yeah, let me show you the game. Okay, before we start, please consider subscribing if you are new to the channel, because we are so close to 400 subs, and once we get there, I'm going to upload my first game against title player. So yeah, feel free to subscribe if you want to support me. And if you are not new to the channel, and leave a like, a comment, and let me know if you liked this game. Okay, my opponent started with e4. I played the French, d4, d5, and now my opponent took, and this is the exchange variation of the French. So many players consider this variation drawish variation, and it is true because you have symmetrical pawn structure, so it is true that the position is completely equal, but you still have to play and win, or draw or lose. So we are not top players, we are not grandmasters, so any opening can be a win, a loss, or a draw. Okay, my opponent developed the knight. Here I played c6, which is a common move in the exchange French, but probably developing the bishop first was better. This move has a point, which is defending the d pawn, because since I want to put my bishop here, when my opponent develops their knight, they will be attacking my pawn, so I move my c pawn to defend my d pawn. But yeah, probably moving the bishop first was best. Here my opponent played c3, which is very passive, and I developed my bishop. Now bishop d3, and I played this move, knight e7, which has the idea of going bishop f5 next and trading my opponent's light square bishop for my light square bishop, and we will have a knight here. Okay, my opponent castled and I did the same, and here many players play this move, this Greek gift, but this is not a good move because you can just take, and after the knight gives the check, you can just go back to g8, and this is not too scary because of this move, bishop f5, defending the mate threat. So here the engine says g4, but you can just slide back, honestly. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know, let's see. Is this fine for black? Yeah, it looks fine. We have a -7 advantage, so we are completely fine and we are a piece up. So don't play the Greek gift unless you have a good continuation. So here I continued with my idea. My opponent took, I took with the knight, and here I centralized the rook. My opponent did the same. Here a common move which is which is not really a threat, because my opponent can just go here and defend the pawn while they are attacking my knight. In fact, they did, so I took the bishop for the knight. My opponent decided to take with the pawn, so I played this move to avoid any mate idea. My opponent moved the knight to h4, which I don't really understand. Now I get my queen back because it's not doing anything on b6. Here I developed my last piece, and now my opponent wants to trade a knight for my bishop, but I don't want to because this bishop is very nice, so I retreated the bishop, which was the best move. And now I started to get my queen closer to my opponent's king and see if I can attack. My opponent took, I took back. Yeah, my opponent moved the knight. This knight here on g3 and this knight on f3 are very nice at defending because they cover a lot of squares. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you see, they do a great job at defending. Not this. Yeah. So I bring my knight because I want to see if I can attack. I defend my b pawn by pushing it. Now my opponent gets a knight in the middle of the board, and here I wanted to double the rooks, but I didn't have the time because my opponent attacked my queen, so I slide my queen and they attack the queen again, so I move it again, and now I start kicking the knight and jump a knight here to trade their knight in the center. My opponent didn't want to trade, but here I just win the pawn, and actually the engine is saying that taking with the rook is the best move, which is very nice to see, but I don't know if I would have taken with the rook, probably with the knight and then simply winning a pawn. But yeah, I delivered a check, and now my opponent moved the king, which is good, but after this move, because I honestly wanted to win the exchange, queen knight f2, my opponent here should have given the exchange, but they didn't. So there is this very common tactic. If you do puzzles, you probably already found the sequence, the mate in 3, which is double check with knight h3. This is a double check, so the only move is moving the king. It is forced, and now this brilliant queen sacrifice, because the queen is defended by the knight, so taking with the rook is forced, and now the very famous smothered mate with knight f2 checkmate. So a very nice finish for this game, and I'm very glad that my opponent blundered, because this is the first time I think I've ever got this mother mate. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this game, and if you did, please again consider subscribing to the channel, because we are very close to 400 subs, and see you in the next video.